So Pojo, man, I mean, it seems as though TSM can't go an event without Pojo stepping in one way or another. He must absolutely love it, packing his keyboard and mouse at every single event he comes to, just on the off chance he gets called up to that main stage. And let's be honest, TSM need him now. This is the last chance saloon here. There is one best of 3 that is going to be played right now to decide which of these 2 teams advances through our bracket.
Interesting initial ban coming in here for the Falcons of their first attacker. TSM's, of course, making sense. Finka's still the prolific operator inside of the meta right now, so she's finding herself banned out more and more as teams realize they might not want to allow their opponents to have that benefit. But the Sludge one is going to be interesting, obviously limiting the top-down clear capability from TSM when going for sites specifically into areas like the kitchen, so they will have to pay mind to that and look for other ways to approach it. Obviously, there's ways to work around it, most notably a buck, but that'll be a little bit more limiting. And we'll have to see how they'll work towards that. Rest of the bands, though, going to fall in line with what we expect. Valkyrie and Mira for the defense. Valkyrie and Mira still too universally useful, so they are quite commonly knocked out, especially here on Chalet.
Good to see that TSM are banning the Valkyrie there. They had a lot of trouble earlier on today against BDS with leaving that Valkyrie open. Shaiko is known for his Valkyrie, and if you give a team like BDS the opportunity to gather that much information, it can be a very damning thing. So good to see it removed. Mirror, pretty part for the course. Great ban here on Chalet, as are a couple of others, but they're going to be the 2 main ones that we really look toward here. Of course, we do have TSM starting off on that attacking side, and their response to the sledge ban, at least, is going to be, as you correctly alluded to, Blue, the book pick achieved there is going to be switching out onto that book. It doesn't do too much to disrupt. It does, more importantly, remove a couple of nades, and that's going to be one of the big things that any team is looking to take advantage of. You always want to be having as many nades as possible. You're going to be looking to bring operators that bring the nades. No Finker in the lineup. All of a sudden, you switched on to the Zephyr. There's no nades there. In this round, of course, that's been 6-picked out, but the sledge is the key one there. It just removes a little bit more of that explosive power away from the attackers, and as we can see, only 2 nades being brought.
So good strategy coming in from the Falcons to hopefully limit that aggressive utility. This might also be playing into the reasoning as to why they decided to start on the defensive side. But regardless, Mad Skills trying to take an aggressive position at the beginning of this round will not work out. Even worse, he's on the Legion, so all the benefit that would have come from him surviving to later into the round where he would have had access to more goo lines is now gone. And what is this? Pojo Man already into the basement site here. Gio able to fend off the first bit of resistance. Bola does the same from main stairs. And Merc still outside, having Overwatch for the push from O-Kills will take him down as well, leaving just a Joker alive here in the 1v5. Unfortunately, without any real access to the basement as well, so this is assuredly more than likely going to fall into TSM's hands at some point in the next 30 seconds.
Well, we can already see TSM players rotating up these main stairs, just trying to search out for this final kill. Merc going to get himself into a little battle and think better of it. Tosses the nade out, gets downed in process, but 15 seconds. What can you hope to achieve as Joker? You maybe get a couple of impactless frags, but there is likely not going to be enough time to disable that diffuser. Bolo actually hitting him with the full 360 no-scope there. Started with the SMG, drew for the DMR, and dropped himself into prone to pick up that final kill. Blue, I don't even think we got a chance to tell the viewers at home which site we were even
pretty
looking
much.
at. It was blink and you miss it stuff. Fresh mentioned on the desk, he said, oh, you know, Falcons, they look like they're really trying to square up and eye out and psych out TSM. TSM are in the zone. Like, that is not a round you pull out of nowhere.
And in some parts of it, it's kind of due to the Falcons' own making. We did see their players trying to play into a much more extended game, like we saw with the games hop out right at the beginning of the round there. I think TSM quickly realizing that they had a pretty extended setup, capitalizing that by going directly for the site, cut off all of the reinforcements before they even had a chance to help, and lock in their post-plant positioning as well. Beautifully done by TSM as they take confident control of the first round.
Well, let's see if TSM are going to approach the site in the same way. We are going to be, of course, going back downstairs. Now, Bolo did 6 off the Zephyr in round number 1 as well onto that Dokkaebi. And I was kind of thinking, is that in response to something that TSM have seen inside of that prep phase and something that they now want to try and take advantage of? But the fact that he's done it again kind of leads me to believe we might be looking at that's more of a staple choice for this site for them. I very much doubt that TSM are going to go for a very quick round here again. But it certainly paid dividends inside of round number 1 and immediately puts Falcons a little bit on that back foot, given that they were just so ill-prepared for any sort of quick rush. This time, however, things are a little bit different. We are going to see the wall open successfully. Koto's there with the attempted Electroclaw trick is not going to work.
Other than that, though, things proceeding as usual here for TSM. You see that slow build-up as usual. Bolo, of course, just popping open some sight lines. Not looking to make the entry just yet. Still far too early into the round to be attempting that. So we'll continue to maintain the back foot position, waiting for the rest of his teammates to establish that first contact. Where are we going to see that show up? Again, not from Gio's position. He'll be working for basement play, but once to distract a little bit, Merc will get some heat set at him, but he returns it up on top of the balcony, taking down Mad Skills, and once again, earning that first kill for TSM.
Mad Skills' first death 2 rounds in a row here, and you commented last time on that Lesion. He's had a couple more of those goo mines regenerate this time, but still, it isn't the full value that you want to be seeing out of that operator. Gio can now get himself into the top of these west main stairs, apply that Inox tracker, and just see if there are any lingering footprints still of any defenders that are potentially up and around. We do have J-Lad. He's going to be on that top floor, just hiding out inside the piano area. In fact, we're going to see Gio get swung on. Okills there was getting called by the Mozzie, still managed to get himself up those west main stairs and pick up the kill. So Falcons have managed to find one back. There's still a long time here, though, for TSM to work with.
TSM indeed continuing to look for opportunities to strike true towards the site, but there's been a little bit of a slower build-up, especially compared to the last round here, and you can see damage has been thrusted much more heavily back upon them. Joker getting himself into this round now, is able to knock out Merc. Pojo Man with a quick exchange, though, keeps TSM in the fight, and the numbers even at a 3v3. TSM still worried about a top-down clear, and with good reason, too, due to Joker continuing to roam around the trophy and kitchen area. Now going to try to push himself back over towards trophy, where he'll have a stable base of operations to play from, especially considering the biggest threat to his life is going to be coming from Achieve. But Achieved, aware of this scenario, you can see that yellow ping very hot and close to the position of Joker. Achieved actually hits him once with the skeleton key, but doesn't even realize it. Thankfully, Bolo's nearby to also capitalize that. But O-Kills fast on the trade from the bottom of Laundry Stairs. He trades it right back out against Bolo, knocking him down, and again, keeping our numbers even in a 2v2 as we come down to the final 20 seconds of play.
Okills has got a really couple of important kills there in that round. Held down the back of the site extremely well. Achieve does still have the option to try and rip open a little bit of this floor, but realistically, with Pojo Man there to assist, they're going to try and be getting these fights taken on the main stairs. Okills going to pick up his third onto the round. The default camera is still calling out on Poj. Well, he's got 4 seconds and he needs to find 2 kills. All the Falcons have got to do here is keep themselves safe, and that's exactly what they will do. Kotos picking up that final kill and being credited with it. A great round there from Falcons. They did a really good job of stabilizing themselves on the site, because the upstairs roam clear didn't work out entirely in their favor. It didn't go terribly, but equally, Okills playing that back side, playing that west main stair, he was able to achieve wonders.
Okills specifically with his capability to trade out the loss certainly helped out there to bring things back under control. So now we're going to be seeing things tied up, brought to a 1-1 scoreline.
Let's see what we are going to expect here inside of round number 3. Slightly different site that we're going to be headed on to. We're going to be going up to Bar and Games. Of course, we have seen basement for the first 2 rounds here. TSM winning round number 1, Falcons being successful inside of round number 2, and it's time for a little bit of a change-up. Top floor has, for all intents and purposes, pretty much fallen out of favor on Chalet and isn't as popular a pick as it was at least at the start or at the time of Chalet getting released into the map pool after the small rework that we did have here. So we're going to go to Games instead, and Falcon's still going to be opting for this sort of drone denial. We're bringing the Mozzie. Okills has already done a cracking job on that operator, so I imagine he'll be playing Mozzie for the foreseeable. It does do quite a bit to try and limit that information game that you're going to need as an attacker when you're trying to clear that top floor.
So now, as we move deeper into the action here on round number 3, we're going to continue to see the players, specifically Bolo here, trying to watch out, see if we're going to get those aggressive swings from the side of Falcon, which have been showing up in the past 2 rounds, and it's a great move from the Falcons as it has brought out a great amount of respect from TSM. You can note these first 30 to 40 seconds. Obviously, the first round being an exception to this because they got that early pick so quickly, but since then, a very slow crawl from this team as they remain incredibly cautious of any early shenanigans that the Falcons roster may try to get up to here. Merc finally starting to stabilize up on top of Ego. He's going to look for the first challenge if he can get it either from the office or, of course, that stable position just outside of the library, but Koto's going to eat off a little bit more than he's ready to chew here. He'll fall back down through the hatch while knocking off half of the HP from Pojo Man. And of course, remember, no Finka, so that's HP he's not going to get back now.
Just dropping off that library hold at around the minute mark. They hadn't invested too much utility in there too heavily to keep hold of it, and it's still going to take a little bit of time here for TSM to take full advantage of that. O-Kills, he's really thirsting for these opening picks. He's not afraid to plant his face up against a window and just see if there's anything that he can gather. We are now starting to see TSM swarm in onto this library side. They do have to be careful. There are a couple of floss mats knocking around there that you do want to keep a keen eye on. Kotos still looking to try and challenge onto Nubal, but Merc, he isn't really concerned about anything aside from the doorway in there to office. We're likely going to see a bit of a push now come through as we start to get a bit of utility thrown on in.
So far, just a one-to-one exchange. Joker picking up the first trade for the Falcons. We'll see TSM be able to take out O-Kills as well, but Kota still playing to that close contention and rerouted himself back upstairs to the Ego window. He manages to knock out a second member of the TSM roster now. Pojo quick in the library. Thankfully, obviously, we'd seen this cleared out earlier with Kotos dropping back down, but had to dodge out. A quick welcome mat there. So no problem dealing with it without the resistance coming in from the Falcons, but either way, TSM has been pushed into a disadvantageous position, and they've yet to actually fully clear out the second floor, as you still have that potential pinch coming in from Joker later on in the round. Meanwhile, TSM don't really have time to focus on that. They need to worry about their descent into this site, which needs to happen soon, as time once again getting low. Only 35 seconds remain, and if they rush this a bit too quickly, they'll have to watch out for that second welcome. Thankfully, we just saw a Rotero drone go past that, so TSM should be well aware of this, and a good find from Achieved. Sneaking through here on the Nook, picks up one. He'll try to go for the second, as we do see Joker try to peek through from the office as well, but it won't work out, and surprisingly, there's zero resistance from the Falcons here. Kotos is able to get to the back of Geo, taking him down, but Achieved and Geo themselves have already traded that back out, and now it's TSM in charge in a 2v1, leaving it all on Kotos to clutch with 30 seconds remaining.
This is looking pretty good for TSM. I've no idea how they managed to salvage that round. They got the plant down for free. A lot of distraction being placed elsewhere. Kotos just going to hit on that bait. The nade comes down. Perfect timing. All you're doing is try and deter, try and waste time as an attacker. Achieved, showcasing how you can do that in multiple different ways. One of them, just throw something in, get a nade in, displace that defender, and catch him as he has to make that rotation. Great salvage from TSM. Considering they didn't take a lot of that top floor control, and the only really got library. Merc was unsuccessful, challenging in from Ego window on the new balcony. He didn't win that engagement, and usually that's a really critical place to take good control of so that you can achieve that top floor clear. TSM just working with what they had, seen an opportunity and taking it.
I'm going to make an assumption the Falcons were a little bit over-reliant on Joker, potentially trying to make a play and start the pinch from up on top to distract, which then would have allowed for the Insight players to engage the attacking members of TSM with a bit more confidence, and unfortunately Joker just locked out due to the resistance that he faced over by these living room stairs. So that plan never really came to fruition, and by the time that the Falcons realized it, TSM were already probably halfway through their plan. Either way, as you said, an opportunity taken by TSM, and it'll put them back in control of the lead now at 2-1. Still very quickly to turn around for the Falcons, however, so they'll work to correct that on this round. We'll see a few change-ups to the lineup for TSM in the repick phase here, most notably bringing that Nook back, just like we saw on the last round, and as well the Twitch being swapped in for Geo.
Kotos really investing quite heavily in that ADS in the corner of library. It's always a little bit of a die on your post position, because if you do choose to play there for an extended period of time, it's very likely you are going to get taken out at some point. Let's see how TSM choose to approach attacking this time. They really didn't pay much attention into the office area in the previous round, and whilst you can get away with not doing that, their focus was much more focused toward the sort of library area. All will depend on how successful Merc is if he does choose to go onto the new balcony once again and look to challenge in and around the double window. But for the time being, information gathering, fact-finding missions, the drones work ahead, just to see where these defenders are going to be playing. Geo gathering an invaluable amount of info here, as he knows that there's going to be a player not only on the library stairs, but also a player in and around that main door as well.
Here's the drone, just a split second before he's able to take out the default, but it is truly just the default that is lost there. So bear with us for a sec, folks. We'll work on switching over to another observer feed, something we have on there. We go. We'll go to our top down for the time being, and take a look at the POV from there. So we resume at things though. TSM still with that slow crawl as they try to work their way into it. You can see Achieved looking for that first attempt to pick off, and he does have a member of the Falcons lurking near the hatch. Just saw the red cap as well sitting down below. It's going to be the alibi played by Jayla.
No.
Fortunately, this nade gets snatched right up by a magnet, though, so no hope on knocking out the member down below. And even worse, Kotos is going to find success in his engagement, but at least Merc is able to scavenge things elsewhere on the map with the trade against Joker.
Achieved likely going to be the next one into this engagement with Kotos here. Okill's going to pick up a kill onto Geo in the meantime. Kotos now recognizing I don't need to hold this too heavily. We've already got a 2-man count advantage. I can play this from a little bit further back, and look at the attention that he is drawing here. Achieved eventually shuts him down there and levels things out, but it's come at great cost. Merc has been down there, not going to be finished off though, but likely unable to be revived as the kills just going to keep on coming for the Falcons. Cleaning shop there. TSM nowhere near in that round.
Few critical mistakes which have cost the Falcons 2 rounds, but these have been, as you've noted, easily correctable. And they've been able to bounce back now to bring us that 2-2 tied scoreline. Just need to find that consistency here, and the Falcons will be on a barnstorming way towards 7 points to try and take control of the first map of this series. TSM, on the other hand, struggling to knock out some of these players on the early roam clear. We've even seen that on the rounds they've won also, with the first one being a bit of an exception. So we'll be tied again, heading back into round number 5 here, with 2 left for both teams to try and prove their worth and surge ahead before we flip sides.
It's worth noting today that for the Falcons, this is the second time they're playing on the main stage. So they're already used to that environment. They're getting slowly used to this LAN setup of things, all sat next to each other. Obviously, they play that on the B stream as well. But I've been in there, and it's an entirely different atmosphere. That's a pretty big room, Blue, and it can be a little bit daunting just to think that you're sat there and everyone's watching your every single move. But they look a lot more at ease today. And I think that's something that, had they felt that way maybe yesterday against BDS, would have seen a slightly different game come out. But already, they're making much better decisions in the heat of the moment, and I'm sure that that's only going to continue as they get more used to that environment.
A little bit of a switch up on who's going to be playing the library position here. It looks like Okills at least will assist in setting it up. Mad Skills finally able to strike true, however, with these early peaks. They've attempted it 2 other times, and unfortunately on both of those occasions, Mad Skills found himself to be the first death instead, but finally he strikes true on this round and is able to knock out Merc, giving that first kill over to the Falcons here. Bolo, though, already on the interior of the building, moving all the way up to bars, going to look to exchange this in as well. Hadn't had a chance to talk about it yet, but we have the Montaigne in play for TSM to add that extra control to their push.
If in doubt, bring the shields out. Geo is going to try and rock that Monty, that human drone, that big bullet sponge that you can just play and really be aggressive with. If you can get droned in and you can make sure that you're relatively safe, you can really start to funnel some of these defenders around. But realistically, you're going to need attackers to take advantage of that as well. And we've already seen Bolo fall achieved down, and we can hear that Monty pistol, and it isn't doing a great deal of damage there through the wall. Achieved might be able to be revived here as Poge is going to come to his rescue. That leaves Geo all alone for the time being.
Away from that, Pojo Man going to be distracted, as you said, leaving Geo off on his lonesome, and even Achieve getting back up, obviously going to be at minimum HP. Geo in a little bit of an awkward position here too, as he doesn't have that additional support. Mad Skills, meanwhile, single-handedly controlling the scenario. Okills able to finally get a piece of the action, and he'll clean it up. A full house of frags for the Falcons as they shut down another round and take the lead at 3-2.
Flawless round for the Falcons. What a way to start things off here in our opening game inside of this best of 1, especially given the start that TSM had. TSM came in laser focused, nice little rush round, no mistakes, and from that point onwards the Falcons have just gone, yep, that was round 1. Guess what? You need much more than 1 round to win an entire series, and we are definitely here to play. Currently leading on the defender side of Chalet. Chalet, of course, one of those maps that we often know to be fairly good for the attackers. We know that the attackers have got a lot of opportunity here. Sure, we've got a Finker ban, but we can't attest all of the attacking prowess just to a Finker. And the Sledge obviously being thrown in there as well. It's a bit more of a targeted ban, but it leaves a lot of things open still here for the attackers to use. Now, round number 6, back downstairs to the basement we go. One of the successful rounds that TSM has had so far, one of only 2. We're certainly going to be looking for something here, Blue.
Going to be curious as well if we see Falcons stick to that kind of extended game, as that was the thing that TSM was able to notice and capitalize upon quite quickly by being able to rush their way into the site. Obviously, they do have Kotos here on the K this time, so a little bit more active capability to block out the opening of Snowmobile Wall, but that's only limited, especially considering that Kotos will have to rely on tricking to try and extend that a bit, and we all know how rough that is at this point in the game with how heavily that mechanic has been nerfed over the past few years. Away from that, though, TSM still proceeding very quickly to said wall, and is of course going to look to try and knock it out first.
Thatch being in play is going to make this a heck of a lot easier. Ooh. Unfortunate team kill there. I thought it was the Nitro at first. I was wondering who is it taking out. There's no one in the blast range. Instead, it's going to be poor old Achieve that catches something there. not a great position to be in. Of course, Achieved is bringing all the nades for this lineup as well.
Might have indirectly have been the Nitros. That may have been what he was trying to shoot in that scenario there. Just unfortunate timing is Achieved. More than likely taking a step too far in front of his teammate. Just one of those unfortunate headshots. Spur of the moment thing for TSM, but they'll continue to work on their push regardless. Gio going to insert himself onto the back end of this play. Surprisingly open avenue here to access Wine, but Kotos now with a watch out for that behind one of the cabinets is going to be able to establish himself some overwatch. Still going to have access to a second thermite charge, but Pojoman is busy watching over the breach here at Snowmobile, so will not be able to assist in opening up that sidewall leading into Wine as well that would expose Kotos' position and allow for the push from this direction to go off without a hitch.
Something that really assisted TSM in round number 1 was the book as well. Achieved obviously bringing the Nook this time, and he's been taken out, so it's a bit of a mute point. But they've not got anything really to deal with the floor inside of main lobby. If we do get to that, they might not need to. Merc storms in, picks himself up too before being traded out there by Kotos. Poach is going to fall as well. J-Lad going to find one onto Gio, and Bolo's got a lot of work to do, and not the best gun to be doing it with. Grabs one, shoots the Nitro out mid-air. Locked now into this 2 versus 1. Can he make it happen? Another Nitro comes out. He turns tail and gets shot in the back as he's desperately trying to run away. Falcons, what a start here on Chalet.
Bit of a critical blunder, I think, in the attacker repick phase there for TSM. They had themselves an Amaru picked into at one point, which would have also given them access to the secondary hard destruction in the can openers, and that would have actually allowed them to open up the angle that would have exposed Kotos' position and prevented him from picking up that 3K, but instead they repicked it out towards the Zofia instead, and obviously lost access to that utility, limiting their capability to push in from line side there and opening up a window of opportunity for Kotos to frag out as he did towards the end of that round.
Someone else you can look to is Book. Book, of course, secondary hard breach gadget as well. It was commented on at the time. TSM not having the greatest start on that attacking side. Of course, it's unfair to be too harsh on them with Poach playing with them at the moment, as opposed to their current 5. They're trialing, of course, Snake here at Gamers8. So, I mean, I guess you could say that they're still not really working with a full 5 technically, but it's going to be much more well-practiced with the Snake playing instead. Still, you can only play the game that you've been faced with, and the Falcons are playing a pretty good game up until this point. They've given themselves a nice, healthy 2-round lead as they switch over onto the attacking side. Now it's TSM's turn to defend here inside of this basement. Achieved. Maybe looking for something a little bit cheeky early on. He's going to find at least some damage, dumps half a clip, but only will find a small amount of O-kills as HP.
The TSM going to want a little bit of revenge for the shenanigans that Mad Skills was getting himself up to throughout most of the first half there. They'll match that pace and, as you said, get at least a little bit of damage off onto O-kills. For the rest of Falcons, though, they're proceeding without too much delay. You can see Joker looking to get his quick access at least to be able to take out the default, sitting over there inside of the front entrance lobby. And for O-kills, still going to not have the confidence to hop directly in just yet. They do want to see what's going on down towards Car Garage as well, so that may also be an option for this squad. But TSM has themselves spread out quite heftily, especially here on the second floor. That is going to be quite the time-consuming task, or TSM will walk right out towards the Falcons as we see Joker fend off that jump out from Achieved and get the first kill of the round.
Oh dear. Oh dear from Achieved. Just getting a little bit too thirsty there is all you can think. He's gone for a spawn peek. He's done a bit of damage. He didn't die, so surely you just keep yourself alive for a little bit. But no, he yoinks himself out of the window and gives himself away for free. No real opportunity to get a direct trade onto that kill. So TSM are going to be looking to try and grab one back sneakily here without giving another away. The roam game for TSM is working a lot better, though, than it did for the Falcons. I think that's where you can start to see a slightly different stamp of team here with the Falcons, not just choosing to directly push the site. They are going to play into this roam game, and whilst they're successful up until this point in terms of man count advantage, the time is of course still going to tick, and with only 4 drones left and just about half of the round remaining, they're leaving themselves quite a bit to do.
So indeed, time starting to get a little bit limited for the Falcons. Good news is they are a player up here, so worst comes to worst, they can throw themselves at the team fight. Hope for the best, only needing to come out a -1 ratio from that trade to be able to win it, but still don't necessarily want to put your faith in math in these types of situations, especially for a game like Siege. So they'll want some more assurances aside from that, and they'll try to find it by opening up the backside of Wine. Not going to be able to draw out anyone from TSM from those openings, though, and Merc obviously will be able to still reinforce his own position here in Blue Hole. obvious access to the big rotate going out towards Snowmobile Garage as well. But still, Falcons with an ace nade on top of Geo. Beautifully bounced off the corner there. We're having some trouble opening up these Mav lines, but still going to be workable to an extent, as now they go +2 here. Some damage being found onto Merc too. He's going to call for help as he backs up, but will he get it? That's the question. Bolo able to frag out one of the members of the Falcons, taking them down, but still seeing them inch closer and closer towards the site. The two from TSM on the interior of it, though, still able to hold on to control and stem the tide of the Falcons' own push coming down to these last 15 seconds. JLad finally breaches past that, though. Deals with the issue of Bolo a bit deeper into this. Pojo at very low HP also. He'll try to take a fight, but is immediately lost. Merc at least gets an exchange from that, but he's got 3 more players to knock out. No way to resist this plant either. It's going to go down on the ground. We'll have to hope for the best from a post-plant rush. Maybe catch players crossing, but no. Won't end up happening as we'll miss that opportunity as well, and it's such low HP. This re-entry into the site is going to be so tough. You can see there's a pre-fired angle lined up against him already. They missed the shot, though. He's given a crucial piece of info, but it's not going to be enough. Kotos still
in a little bit of a dice roll situation where we go onto a map that Falcons are known to be quite good on. We've seen them play Villa already today, and they did very well on there. So TSM more than likely know what they're going to be expecting inside of that map too, and that means that they need to fight even harder for every round here on Chalet. Going to be taking us to a slightly different site. Obviously, the team talk, at least the result of the team talk was, okay, let's just go somewhere a little bit different. Go downstairs into kitchen and dining and see if there's any success that we can find there instead. Going to be bringing the usual suspects in the castle. Going to throw in a Legion as well for good measure. Nice, easy operator for Pojo to play. Just stay alive and throw the goo mines out there. You don't really need to synergize with the team all too well to be able to play Legion in this sort of circumstance. And TSM's main goal here is going to be to eat up time on this top floor hold.
Pojo as well going to be rocking with the shotgun on Legion there. We'll have to follow through on that, as I'm not sure if that was by choice or if maybe he just didn't have the operator set up and got stuck on the default gun.
Imagine if he's just been in like custom games, like shooting walls out to see angles, and he comes into this and it's like, oh yeah, I've got the shotgun.
He does have it fully spec'd out with like the laser and a sight and everything, so I think there's at least some planning coming in behind this, but I have seen that happen in the past as well, because of the fact that the LAN client obviously will have different setups. Players sometimes just forget to set up an operator or two and then get thrust onto it without being truly prepared for it. May not be the case here, though, as we continue to see the Falcons build up their initial confidence to make their first entry. Some shenanigans going to be going on over here towards Solarium, as Achieved, well, a bit cheeky, they're hiding out on the stairs. We'll see if we can get anything from it, as the Falcons are very well aware of this position. And if they can line up a nade specifically for JLad here, it might be an early bye-bye to this player on the steps. They'll try to get aggressive, and oh, if it wasn't a double nade, Achieve may have just survived it, been able to spray back, but they stack it too heavily, and he's just not going to be able to hold himself there. JLad claims the first kill of the round again, as the Falcons strike true against Achieved.
Great coordination there from Falcons. They did exactly everything you need to do. Drone it out, burn the utility, get some nades through there, pick up the opener, and it's an opener for free. Costs you a load of utility, but you don't risk anybody in the process. Now they're able to gather a little bit of information further as they get an eye on where Pojo is playing inside a trophy. Merc will grab one back, however, onto Mad Skills, and that could do something to slow the Falcons down, given that that is going to be the Hibana. Any breaching now that they're going to look to do is going to be left solely to the Maverick.
No kills as well, getting a nice spot. Is going to catch the location of the Legion here. Not going to be able to do much about it, obviously, with him maintaining that consistent positioning inside of Kitchen. But we are going to see Joker start to move upstairs, as obviously TSM wanted to play to a pretty roam-heavy composition for this site. You can tell by their operator choice. And already JLad going hunting. He knew that player was in the kitchen, but they had not investigated Geo's position in dining. So he gets away with one for free. Pojo will not be able to maintain his kitchen spot, though, as O'Kills is able to knock him out on a trade. The numbers stay even at a 3v3. But TSM still with a dangerous spread upstairs that can jump on top of this execute, especially from Solarium at any moment. So Falcons will have to keep constant overwatch that, but so far doing a fantastic job. They've knocked out Bolo, and they do have overwatch for Merc's position. They won't be able to swing down the Solarium stairs without finding at least one player of the Falcons on Repel. Another one holding downstairs. Merc, though, knocks out that repelled player. Going for the second now. O'Kills is brought down low, but so is Merc. Neither one of them wants to fight now, but O'Kills, despite his low HP, fends off the remaining defense interior to the site. and leaves Merc alone upstairs in the bedroom.
Difficult position for Merc to be in now. The plant's going to be going down. He's got information. He's actually able to get the kill and stop the plant from going down. All he's got to do is open up an angle and keep an eye on this. He knows that the clock's going to run out and the plant has to be stuck here. Can he find the angle? It's like shooting your own feet. Merc, he comes away with it. He had 1 HP and a dream. What a round from someone that otherwise has had a fairly quiet game up until this point. Massive round for Merc.
Can't really blame Merc for the kind of second guessing that would have been in the same exact position.
Horrible.
If I were on that side, I would have been like, oh yeah, there's no way he's going to plant in that same exact spot. He did have like a 2-second buffer to try and move as well, but still was able to recheck it there towards the end and still course correct as TSM are able to hold on for at least one more round here. Within 2 rounds grasp of the Falcons scoreline now, but still a bit more work to do to bring it back. Either way, great control over the situation, especially again considering the fact that they had trouble maintaining some of their earlier positions, which were lost quite early on due to that great entry power from the Falcons.
Merc skyrocketing himself up the leaderboard there after that last round as well. 10-7 now, really sticking the team on his back. No one really has got a fantastic KD on the side of TSM at the moment. There's a couple of players on the Falcons that are doing fairly well for themselves, namely O'Kills, who by all accounts is having a bit of a heater of a day. Could be something for TSM to try and build a little bit of momentum off the back of now. It's one of the first rounds that's gone their way for quite a long time, as they weren't successful on the attacking side all too much. Round number 1 and round number 3 were the only rounds that they were able to pick up there. So good to see them get themselves back on the board here as they move on to that defensive side. But they need to chain it together, and they need to keep Falcons off getting onto that match point.
Of course, bringing out the Frost once again to bolster the defenses on that library position, especially if there isn't appropriate utility on the attack to deal with those mats. It is obviously going to give TSM a massive advantage in any gunfight that goes on if that extended library player is able to maintain that position. So we'll slow down that early clear from the Falcons quite heftily. Falcons try to contest over here. The auxiliary entrance towards the basement, though, so not going to be able to find such an easy clear. That is, that player sitting inside of the basement from TSM will also have strong resistance for the inside of one, but will also quickly back away. It's all a delay here right now. TSM don't want the outright fight. They just want to put the fear into the Falcons so that they don't outright make the push forward. Joker, though, is able to sneak his way in. He's going to try to push himself through Car Garage to see if he can fend off that basement defender from TSM. I do believe that player has rotated towards the other side of the map, though, so it's going to be quite troublesome to try and catch either one of them at this point in the round.
Bomb located by attackers.
J-Lad going to be on the Nook play, just pushing himself through dining room at the moment. Could be a little bit of a silent assassin there if he gets himself into the right sort of position. Madskill's going to quietly make his way in through the garage as well. One of the big advantages of the Maverick there is you don't make a lot of noise at all. Merc, Spidey senses are going to be tingling though, and he does pay a little bit of attention toward that main breach wall, but likely knows he's going to be getting pushed from elsewhere. Has the pre-fire, but doesn't have the shot. Joker going to be in place to finish him down. Great little bit of pinching teamwork from Falcons. It's cost them a little bit of HP, but O'Kills, excuse me, shuts Bolo down for the top of those main stairs. J-Lad going to be taking out Poge as well. This is shaping up to be another flawless here for the second time inside of the map of Chalet, as Geo is all that stands in between, and that happening does pick one up onto Joker. The plant is now going to be going down, and already you can hear air jabs getting sent out there. O'Kills, he's on the Iana. I'm pretty sure he's meant to enter into the map blue, but he got 2 from outside.
Joker as well, getting hyper aggressive there, especially for a second kill, leaping down one of the basement hatches and taking the fight outright against the lower extension from TSM. Beautifully played by the Falcons as soon as they find that capability to shut down the more free-flowing game, especially from TSM. They take it at every single opportunity. It's been working beautifully for them on this attacking side. Just one more round to go, and map number 1 is locked in for the local representation, and TSM have to start worrying about elimination as they'll be down in this series.
You can hear the crowd are going to start to get behind Falcons as well. This is a much later time that the Falcons are playing today versus yesterday. That stadium is going to be filling up soon with a lot of the Falcons fans. There's plenty of people coming out here to support them, so I'm sure that that's going to play into certainly the Falcons and the way that they're feeling sat on the main stage, having people cheer for that team. And on the flip side is TSM, you haven't got that home crowd advantage. You're used to, maybe having a couple of people shout your name, or some of the good classic TSM chants, or should I say the good classic NA chants, Blue. The let's go and then insert any NA team. Maybe TSM are just missing that at the minute.
We just need like a here we go, Falcons, here we go. We need one of those.
Yeah, I mean, that probably happened,
yeah. I won't fight that point. But we are going to see TSM switch things up, still emphasizing the delay with at least one of their operators. We see the Frost get switched out towards a cap can instead for Merc's sake there. Obviously going to try and see if they can trick up the members of the Falcons. This is oftentimes just kind of a one-and-done operator select, as well you might sneak off that kill or two after that round is played. The attackers are going to pay extra attention to those surrounding door molds there to make sure that they don't find themselves picked off by those stackable EDDs.
While the Falcons have been really good on their attacks, they have been struggling a little bit with the drones. So if you're going to throw the Capcan out there and force them to thoroughly drone every single doorway, it's going to eat up into that time. It's going to eat up into that droning work as well. They haven't been entirely efficient with that information as the attackers. There's a couple of times we'll just sort of see a drone lying on the floor outside, or they're going to lose a lot of drones in order to gather a very small amount of information that isn't immediately acted upon. So you just got to keep a little bit of an eye on that. And things like the Capcan are great for furthering that slowdown. Much slower round here, though, as speaking of drones, I feel like we've just seen like 3 die. It's been almost perfect. Achieved is still hanging around the window, but Joker with the one-tap. That's all the invitation he needs to get himself straight in. Quick little glance to check for Capcan trapped, and he is already into the building.
More surprised that Achieved ended up getting baited into that there. Just the slow tap, and the third one strikes true to knock him out in one final shot. Unfortunate for Achieved, is he was the front runner for this team, and Bolo secondary in that same role. So now that extended game has been lost almost entirely. Doubling down on it, though, you're going to notice there's still a few more players out and about, such as Merc upstairs in the office. And I believe we have Geo and Pojo Man left to defend the site. How is Merc going to find himself effective in this situation? Needs to start routing himself towards a flank, as the pressure is going to be coming in very, very soon from that back wall and line to work themselves into this site.
Breach is going to get opened. Merc now going to make that rotation, getting himself down library. He's got an opportunity here to try and peek in and double up with Pojo, man. Pojo going to play aggressively on the breach. Geometric and him share one as kills start to fly. Now Pojo has to hit the reload. He's only got the SMG, so he doesn't have the luxury of ammunition. Madskill is going to be there to take him down. Geo playing deep inside of the site. What was he going to be able to do against the Finka LMG and the might of the Falcons bearing down upon him? Falcons going to be successful on map number 1.
Falcons showing again why they've been so strong at this tournament in the second half. Their attacking prowess looking to be second to none in this tournament right now, as TSM just cannot contend against it.